प्रोफेसर गोपाल कृष्णन अय्यर, नमस्कार.
Namaskar, sir. Namaskar. Namaskar on a great day.
World Environment Day, very important day for all of us.
या वर्ल्ड एनवायरनमेंट डे, मतलब अब हिंदी में हम कह दें तो विश्व पर्यावरण दिवस की बात है 2026.
Professor Ayer, is it that you are going through some kind of a makeover because you seem to get younger by the day?
I don't know. God is great. I do nothing. I went through a heart operation in 2023. You know it. I can only tell you how to live after that.
PMSS identified by Truecaller.
Professor, okay.
Hello. Good morning.
Welcome to Vision India Forum. 5th June,
Yeah.
5th June 2026.
Because this logistic problem came.
We've been joined by Jute Corporation of India representatives.
Yeah. I think only 2 flights are there.
Chairman Panigrahi
Panigrahi to
will
Delhi.
be also joining us. Kuldeep Singh Datwalia, Principal Director General, Press Information Bureau, PIB, Government of India, former PIB Director General.
Yeah, I will join online.
Thank you, Goenka sir. Thank you.
They have not contacted.
We've been joined by Achalendra Reddy, former Chairman of National Biodiversity Mission of India.
Good morning, Ji. Good morning, Ji.
We've been joined by Mekon
everyone.
Mekon representatives. Mekon is a Miniratna PSU from Ranchi, Jharkhand, Government of India's undertaking. Simantini is there. Madam.
Yeah,
Simantini.
good morning. Good morning, everyone.
We've also got a gentleman from.
Good morning. Myself, Palash Banerjee. I'm DGM in Environmental Engineering section of Mekon. And along with me, Dr. Santosh Ramesh is there.
Welcome to all of you from Mekon. A special thanks to S.K. Verma-ji, Chairman of Mekon, a wonderful visionary who's been taking the organization along for the last few years. We've been joined by Jute Corporation of India. Jute Corporation is a very critical organization. Stuti Kakkar is joining us. Former Secretary Minister, Government of India, Secretary Disabilities, Chairperson of NCPCR. She's somebody credited with having set up the Disabilities Department, Government of India. Madam Stuti Kakkar, namaskar.
Namaste. Sorry, I had some difficulty in logging in.
अभी आपका ये कैमरा नीचे है, थोड़ा ऊपर कर लीजिए.
हाँ, आप पहले लॉग इन करें तो कैमरा देखें तो सब चीज देखें. Okay.
Okay. Now we've also been joined by Kalyan Majumdar ji from Jute Corporation of India, GM. We've been joined by Arun Kumar Sinha. Arun Sinha ji is Additional Secretary, Government of India Labour. He was Additional Secretary, Government of India Labour, ACS, Government of UP. Also Joint Secretary, Department of Public Enterprises, Government of India. We've been joined by Rajkumar Chaudhary. Rajkumar Chaudhary ji is a Rajkumar Chaudhary ji has joined us. Welcome.
Recording in progress.
And we've got Sanjay Panigrahi. Sanjay Panigrahi is somebody who is a dear friend of mine, former CCI, GM. Now he's the chairman of Jute, MD of Jute Corporation of India. Jute is a critical fiber. It is something which is inextricably linked with India's march towards an environment-friendly nation. Removing plastics is one of the key themes of the United Nations for 2026 for India specifically. 2018, India was leading the show. After 1976, India was again spearheading the Environment Day in 2018, and Andheri was created with cleaning the Marina Beach. Today is another day when we lead the Environment Day with all representatives having joined us. And there will be a lot of people who will keep joining us, like Alexander Thomas is joining us now. He is the Director General, Chairman and Founder of the Healthcare Providers of India, 14,000 hospitals. He's got 14,000 hospitals under his banner. Hospitals are very, very critical because they generate a lot of, medical waste, which is very, very hazardous to the economy, to the society. Dr. Thomas, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Amit.
Cameras to be on. Somen Kundu is there from JCI. Will be joined by a few other dignitaries as we proceed. Z Lab, there is somebody called Z Lab. Could you switch on the camera, introduce yourself? Please introduce yourself, sir. Z Lab.
Hello, my name is Sanjay Kundu and I'm an IPS officer, just retired. I
I
used
know
to
you.
be DGP.
I know you. Sanjay ji, namaskar. Welcome to the show.
I was chairman of Brahmaputra board also and chief of India's interlinking of rivers authority. I did a tenure in Ministry of Water Resources and I was also mission director of National Water Mission, which is the climate change authority of India.
Sanjay ji, your camera is a little low. Please, could you put it a little आपकी face? Now you are wonderfully visible. He's somebody who is having many hats. You know, he's donned over his career, including the chairman of the Brahmaputra board. Yesterday, I was speaking to Bhaskar Manta, the former DGP Assam. He introduced me to him. This gentleman was chairing Brahmaputra board, something which is inextricably linked to India's growth story and environmental protection going forward. It is the Mammoth River, you know, right from China. And now, you know, the entire thing has become very significant because of the relevance of Northeast and the Strait of Malacca and so many other issues. As we proceed, we'll keep discussing because Andamar project, the Great Nicobar project, Brahmaputra, Strait of Malacca, Northeast, they are all inextricably linked. The chicken's neck will all come through that. Let me start opening remarks. Professor Iyer, but only 3 minutes, sir. Opening remarks to you.
Namaskar to all who have joined in, and thank you, Goenka Saab, to start this, great day, But I wish I can talk everything on a positive note. I wish, but I want to warn people. And before warning, let me start with the capacity index. See, I am the president of the Renewable Energy Promotion Association, which is working in the area of climate action. Direct climate action comes from adding installed capacity, and also ensuring that that capacity becomes a transferable capacity to the Indian grid. So that is the electricity side. The second side is heat side. We have not discussed, nobody discusses heat. We have a lot of requirement of heat, which is through steam and other resources. And the third dimension to that is mobility, which I always term, nowadays people talk of e-mobility and all. There is nothing called e-mobility. There is only one mobility in transition in the energy sector. That I define and our body defines, REPA defines as RE mobility, renewable energy mobility. And bringing all these themes together, we don't need these global fellows to tell us what it is. I have introduced a word which is available in my first chapter of Immunomics, India, Middle East and Africa book, which is called renewability. Now, renewability is beyond sustainability, and renewability is not limited word to renewable energy. It is a concept of replenishability. That is, the planet environment cannot be just kept in the same manner. So even the word sustainability does not help us, because it says if a river is polluted by, let's say, X extent, then we continue to sustain that pollution. Sustaining is a very, very big misnomer word. So we have to go beyond that. Renewability, we have to replenish our bodies. We have to work on rejuvenating them. And that is the key. I can't explain the physics of it, but the whole thing is already there in my first chapter if anybody wants. I can share the book on the concept of renewability. And I want to take here that the economic side, the global economic side, was started by people like Michael Porter, who pushed us to a wrong direction. It was before him in the 70s, and I would say era of, the Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the president of America, that there was this Keynesian theory, Lord Maynard Keynes, and the second most important man, forgotten man in the strategic domain, in trade domain, is none other than David Ricardo. So we have to superimpose the Ricardian principles of comparative advantage, because competitive advantage is a derivative and it ends up making all of us fight with each other, vie with each other for resources. This is not the case. We have to collaborate to ensure that the resources reaches the last mile. Like C.K. Prahlad ne jo kitab likhi hai, the bottom of the pyramid, you cannot reach the bottom of the pyramid or do the Antyodaya without the model of Sarvodaya. That is, you have to create a model of rice for all. So this is the fundamental principles on which we have to start working. And we don't have to copy the West every time, but we can borrow from them wherever necessary. Like the Ricardian principles are borrowed. But Sarvodaya is an Indian principle. The rise of all is an Indian principle. It is predominantly born in India since Mahatma Gandhi's era. And, Jayaprakash Narayan took it up. He was the architect of the whole thing later on. And Vinoba Bhave was also involved. So we must not forget these movements. And this is fundamental to our success in the country. So now I come to two fundamental points, that the only two countries that have been actually committing themselves to renewable energy and climate action are China and India. But having said that, I want to warn everybody. There is no race. This race is so bad that China has 3.75 terawatt. I define 3.75 terawatt. That means 3,750 gigawatt of generation capability, which is the installed generation capacity. Technically, they go up to 50 to 60% of this capacity to bring on the grid. And then you see India's point. We are at 525 gigawatt, which you can say the traction is almost 7 times more for China. What is the population of China and India? We are both 1.5 billion now. We must now see these arithmetics rather than jumping to the rooftop and saying we have done a lot. We haven't done. We are not there. All China is leading the game, even in renewable energy, because if you compare the 1250 gigawatt thermal, that is also 5 times of what we have. But fundamentally, what it is that we have to be very careful.
I'll not get into, request you not to get into that renewable energy space, because you are an authority on energy. Every time I ask you to speak,
let me get you some numbers. I'm finishing it.
See, they are all inextricably linked. You're going to inadvertently reach into the energy space. Just one question before I ask other speakers to join in. One question: as you're a professor, difference between renewables and sustainable.
See, I have very clearly told you that we need to go to a dimension which I have defined in 2024, and it has been taken as a policy construct at REPA. It is called renewability. Now, renewability means, see, if it's a very simple thing, I will give you a very simple example. When a consumer action is born, the definition of consumer is wrong worldwide, and I will tell you the right definition. Every volume, a lot, or a quantum escapes to be replenished by the next volume, lot, or quantum. This is the law of consumption in physics. So, and this sustains, you have the birth of the consumer. And what is the difference between consumer and customer? Is very simple. The customer uses the product. The consumer uses up the product. It is so simple. Use versus use up. And we are all living in this whole dimension. And everything is behind this consumption activity. The world is in this. So therefore,
don't you think sustainability and renewability in terms of
sustainability will only ensure that you continue to pollute the planet. You are sustaining the pollution. Word itself is mentally wrong. It is given by the West. I have been challenging the World Economic Forum. ये गलत है. इसको पहले इस दिन, luckily you called me today. I am in a mood to tell you, renewability is the word. You have to go to the next dimension. Let the West follow us. We have been replenishers of the planet. We have not been spoiling. A Ganga rejuvenation, it's a Ganga rejuvenation project, not sustainability project. So if Ganga has to be rejuvenated.
That means you're saying that renewability is the core concept.
It is a new concept. It's come from India. It's come from Professor A.G. Iyer and his body, renewable.
Is it the core concept, renewability?
It is a core concept. I can challenge anybody in the world on this, because if you don't replenish, you don't do anything. You just sustain it.
Raj Chaudhary, former CMD, NHPC. First of all, please, cameras on for all the participants. Dr. Sushmita Mitra has joined us. Madam, could you introduce yourself? Because I don't want unknown visitors here. Dr. Sushmita Mitra. I don't want unknown visitors here. Dr. Sushmita Mitra, and cameras on for everyone. Now, let me also congratulate Numaligarh Refinery. They have been somebody who've been pioneering the Assam Accords principles in Northeast by setting up the first Asia's biggest bioethanol plant. You know, it is one of the best plants using sugarcane, using bamboo as the energy driver, because ethanol is the call of the hour considering what is happening in the West Asian crisis. Now, Raj Chaudhary ji, former CMD NHPC, he knows renewability more than most of us over here. Over to you, Raj Chaudhary ji.
Thank you. Good morning to all of you. Am I audible?
Absolutely,
Yes,
sir.
yes, please.
Yeah. So, yes, I agree regarding renewability because today is the Environment Day and we all have to protect our environment. We all have to keep the environment because we are facing the extreme events, environmental events, and that's why day by day. So one thing, our technocrats are very much concerned about whatever the solar panel will be out of the generation, when the solar panel will be out of the generation, when the batteries will be out of the function after completing its life, what will happen to those? So these e-waste and the waste of solar panel, we have to keep thinking how to reuse it, how to increase the usability of these used materials. So that is one thing. The another thing, as the global warming, so there is a need for carbon capture. And carbon capture, the biggest source of carbon capture is plantation. So, on one hand, for development, we are cutting the trees for development of a smart city or any developmental works. We are removing the trees, cutting the trees. That is compulsory. That is also to go. But at the same time, we have to look for compulsory afforestation. Like for hydro projects, whatever the forest area we submerge, double the area we fund for compulsory afforestation. But one thing, Ayer Sahab also and Goenka Sahab, we have to keep eyes whether the double the area are going to be forested or not. Afforestation activities are there or not, because the money is going. So the area where there is no forest, in those areas the plantation should be there. So I submit that the plantation, the trees are the best source of carbon capture. The technocrats, engineers are very much concerned and they are busy in developing the technology for the carbon decarbonization of our atmosphere
Okay.
with some other technology also. But the cheapest
Chaudhary
technology
ji,
is the plantation of
NHPC
trees.
has been
So
one of
thank
the
you very
pioneers
much.
in the space of renewable energy.
Thank you. Over to you, Goenka ji.
Chaudhary ji, NHPC
Wonderful.
has
I
been
just
one of the
add one point
pioneers.
here. One point.
Ayer साहब, एक मिनट रुकिए.
चौधरी साहब के लिए एक point, because we both love hydropower. See, two things have happened. Chaudhary साहब के time पे भी the movement on Subansiri, which is coming, has happened, and it was started by Abhay Kumar Singh, whether we like it or not. That gentleman moved the entire cheese. Nobody cared, and that project will be the largest project in hydro that will come. And I can assure you that the number of tree plantation, what he has said, NHPC has been doing these tree plantations every time in the project. It is a project direction. Even NTPC has done it in the projects that they have executed, limited numbers. So tree plantation is a definite strategy, but I would say let's go one step ahead. That is, I would say let us encourage people to build private forests or cooperative forests. This is the time has come now.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Chaudhary is also currently the chairman of the Joint Electricity Regulatory Commission and is looking after the union territories of Ladakh and Jammu Kashmir. Chaudhary ji, we will come back to you. Please stay put with us. You were talking about the carbon capture issues. Jute Corporation of India is there with us. Somebody from Jute Corporation, with all your cameras off, if you want to speak with your cameras off also, could you just tell us about the relevance of jute from the sequestarian perspective? Because sequestarian properties of jute are incomparable in terms of the fiber that this plant produces and the kind of carbon capture this plant is capable of. And if this is what the capacity of jute is, why not it becoming one of the key packaging materials across the country and replace plastic and single-use plastic completely, which is the theme of the hour. Kalyanji can't hear you. Kalyanji, we can't hear you. Okay, sort it out. Sort it out. Achalendra Reddy with us, chairman, former chairman of National Biodiversity Mission of India. And he is somebody who's been scouted by the biggest of industrialists today, who are being, charged with environmental degradation. Yes, the CGI has come to the rescue recently. Justice Suryakant has come to the rescue by saying that no environmental degradation is happening. And when we go back into history, we see that all the environmental degradation, there has not been much difference, right from 50 degrees temperature in Falodi, Rajasthan in 1952, 53 to now 2016 in Alwar 51 degree. So a mere 0.4 degrees difference. Floods, the biggest floods happened in India way back, 1943s. Famines happened way back in the late 18th century. So Justice Suryakant has a lot of points where he can really fight the environmentalists who are stalling development. But we'll come to all of that later. Achalendra Reddy, National Biodiversity Commission. Could you take us through the relevance of biodiversity and environment?
Yeah. Thank you. First, thanks to Vision India Forum and Goenkaji and for giving me this opportunity to share some random thoughts on this day of, World Environment Day. As we all know, the theme of the World Environment Day this time is inspired by nature, for climate, for our future. And recently on May 22nd, since you mentioned biodiversity, the International Day for Biodiversity was celebrated on 22nd May. The theme for that day was acting locally for global impact. So what I wanted to say and submit before the distinguished participants, panel speakers, is that the development and environment are two sides of the same coin. So therefore, I would like to, because we cannot, in the modern world, we cannot do away with the development, and we cannot be only speak about the environment. Both have to go hand in hand, and both have to be balanced to the extent possible. So I would like to share some practical examples what is happening in India from the environment point of view, from the biodiversity point of view. Now, we all know that climate change is happening, and the government has come out with many strategies, many schemes to counter the adverse effects of climate change on biodiversity. And as we all know, the biodiversity and the climate change are both will influence each other. If there are extremes in climate change, then there will be adverse effect on biodiversity. If there is a rich biodiversity, then it will have mitigating effect and positive effect on the resilience, climate resilience it will develop. So therefore, what I wanted to say is that both are important, both we have to keep it in. In fact, the environmental conservation protection should be mainstreamed into all the developmental work. As rightly mentioned by learned speakers just now, that tree plantation and compensatory efforts, all those are fine. But still, the philosophy of mainstreaming the environmental conservation as a part of the developmental projects has to be further reiterated and strengthened. That is my submission. So it is okay. We are doing it, but we need to do with certain, more commitment, and we have to show a visible result so that the opponents of development will be, they should be reasonably neutralized by showing the examples. For example, I would like to quote one or two here. National Highway Authority of India. It has come out with a very innovative program recently, thanks to the top management, that they are going to not only just plant it, but they are going to have a bee corridors, in the sense that 5 kilometers away, the flowering, the indigenous trees of India will be planted, which attract the bees. In fact, the bees are responsible for the cross-pollinated crops. So it will have a positive effect on the increasing the agricultural yield. So one developmental project, the promoters are thinking from the environmental point of view in a very innovative way. This is what I would like to share with all of you. Another thing which government of India has come out very, forcefully and very constructively is the MISTI program, that Mangrove Habitat Shore Area Development Program for Tangible Results. We all know that during tsunami, the villages which were there at which are having on the coast that mangroves, the effect was almost negligible. So these are the things I would like to share. One more thing, because of the Environment Day, sir, you kindly stop me once my time is over. So I will be speaking like this. So the once the climate change is happening, we know that the dormant microorganisms will become active. COVID is one, and then now Ebola in Congo, which we are all, World Health Organization has issued a caution to all the countries. And therefore, what we need to learn from these things, for example, H5N1 peacocks were affected in Karnataka. It has come in the newspapers. So what I mean to say is that we should be the One Health policy. That means as climate, there is a change in the climate and temperatures, maybe humidity, and all other factors, maybe pollution. So there will be an effect of the dormant microorganisms will become into mainstream, and that will be jumping from animals to humans and all those things. These are the certain things we need to keep in view in the present day world of a fast changing society. And the other one is the soil fertility, soil pollution. National mission on natural farming, the government of India has come out very strongly and very structurally. It is promoting the huge organic and natural farming in our India. That is one very good thing. The other point is that just I would like to mention before I close, Sustainable Development Goals and the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework. The Sustainable Development Goals 3, climate change, and then SDG 13, 14, 15, Sustainable Development Goals, life on the ground, life below water, and climate change. These 3 goals are directly linked to the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity. So,
Reddy, the Chipko movement led to the Forest Act. I had Arjun Munda on my show today also. He might join us. He's in some remote village somewhere. So now the Chipko movement led to the Forest Act being promulgated in the 80s. Now, post that, we see states like Mizoram, they have had a kind of a compromise with respect to development because they lead the forest cover in India. But of late, there has been a lot of talk around the forest degradation, something which is inextricably linked to the environmental degradation also. And there is a lot of UN cry from the former bureaucrats, lobbies, and they are all shouting at the top of their voices against deforestation. Your views on how to balance development and deforestation?
There is, as already mentioned, the compensatory afforestation is one thing, but in the recent convention 16th conference of parties of conventional biological diversity, we have come out with nature-based solutions and ecosystem-based approaches. These are the 2 concepts which are being practiced traditionally, but they have been given a focused attention now. So these 2 things should be further added to not only simply planting the trees, but we have to look into the ecosystem management that is happening now here and there, and that type of reorientation among the foresters and among all the environmentalists. We need to follow these 2 concepts which are clearly mentioned in the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework 23 targets. One of the target is this one. So that is what I wanted to add it. And the other thing is that one or two examples. Now the scientists are identifying so many things, new things. Mushroom which can eat plastics has come into play. And recently, thanks to our youngsters and our learned teachers, they have identified the tamarind powder which will attract nanoplastics, the microplastics from the water, and thereby purifying the water. So day by day, the innovative minds are also discovering these things we need to promote in a large way. So lastly, I want to say, conservation of environmental protection and conservation is not only our collective responsibility, but also a developmental, social, and moral obligation. Thank you, Ji. Thank you very much.
Okay. Mr. Thank you, Reddy sir. Please stay put with us. We've got a few more questions will come to you as we proceed. Arun Sinha, former Secretary, Labour Government of India. Sir, you've been also somebody who's led a lot of initiatives in the state of Uttar Pradesh. He is a family friend of mine. Arun Sinha ji, 83 batch IAS officer. Arun ji, pilgrim tourism, Sangam, that Kumbh Mela with 1.5 or 2 or 3 crore people. Then I also had this NMCG, National Mission for Clean Ganga project, chairman with us one day. My question to you, or I would like to request you to start by explaining to us, because you are in Lucknow now. What is the state of UP doing to ensure that this huge influx of pilgrim tourism in places like Ayodhya, Shri Ram Ayodhya ji, Kumbh Mela every 4 years, how do you think these things can be? Uttarakhand, we are coming to Uttarakhand very soon because Dhatwalia ji is with us, former Principal Director General PIB. Arunji, how does Uttar Pradesh tackle this huge pilgrim tourism and the effects of environmental degradation?
Okay, thank you, Amit ji. First of all, let me thank you again for choosing this topic, which is very important, and today we are celebrating this Environmental Day. And also the theme for this year's is that our environment and our responsibility. So this is very good. Generally, people think it's a responsibility of the government to see that environment is okay. So it is not government only, but public and private sector and everybody. Stakeholders here is everybody. And I am happy to see that people from various field luminaries are here, and I'm sure that we have been benefited by Professor Ayer's talk, Chaudhary Saab's talk, and the other talk, people will also give their ideas which will help us in developing the strategy for this environmental improvement. Now, coming back to the question, Amit ji, you posed. First, let me correct that you said 1.5 crore. In Kumbh, it was, I think, more than 35 crore. So, yes, the task is enormous, but then you can see that during Kumbh, no outbreak of any diseases or other things happened. So it was managed very well, planned very well. And right now also, UP is concentrating on this pilgrim tourism. And if you go to Ayodhya, you will find every day is like a Kumbh. I've been recently to Ayodhya, and I am witness to that every day a lot of people are landing. It's not any auspicious day or other day. And this is a big challenge for local administration, the Ayodhya Development Authority, to keep the environment safe. And I think UP government is supporting these initiatives. But I don't have much detail about that because I'm not directly related to them. But I want to mention that I retired as Additional Chief Secretary from Medical Health, that hospitals, they have also got a very big responsibility, especially for the waste which come out of the hospital is highly toxic and they require special treatment. And I'm happy to say that I've recently read that KGMU, the King George Medical University, they are doing a good job of biomedical waste segregation and other things. And today I found that one expert is also here who will talk on this biomedical waste treatment. So these are very important things, and the good thing is that they have been flagged. Now we have to move towards solution, and so that this is there. So I will not take much time. I will thank Amit ji for giving me this opportunity for opening remarks. Thank you.
Sinha sir, I know you were also the Additional Chief Secretary Health, Government of UP, and henceforth you understand that aspect of the medical waste or the medical waste generated and the toxicity around it. We also have experts from cybersecurity who might join us, because e-waste, electronic waste is something, the electronic waste collection. There are these credits being given for the companies to collect, because they are producing electronics in India. Companies are producing electronics like Tata Electronics, Apple, and they are also been interested with the task of collecting the e-waste and recycling the e-waste. I'll come to you again, but before that, JCI was speaking about sequestering properties of jute. We've also got Mekon with us. But after Jute Corporation of India, we've got Bhaskar Jyoti Mahanta, former DGP Assam, who has joined us. He is a avid writer and an advisor to the government of Assam now. Somebody who understands the subject of security more than anyone in this panel today, probably. So before him, Jute Corporation of India, the properties of jute, and how it is very relevant today for the country to progress. Somebody from Jute Corporation of India? Somebody from Jute Corporation of India, would you like to speak? Mekon, what are your initiatives in environment?
Good morning, everyone. I hope I'm audible.
Yes.
Thank you, Goenka sir. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the organizers of the e-symposium for providing MECON the opportunity to showcase our work towards environmental and sustainability. MECON, a premier engineering and consultancy and project management organization under Ministry of Steel, we remain committed to delivering sustainable and environmental responsible solutions to our esteemed clients. Our efforts are aligned with the Government of India's vision for sustainable development and its various environmental initiatives aimed at fostering a greener and more resilient future. Sir, and as an organization, we firmly believe that environmental commitment and economic development must go hand in hand. So as a leading engineering consultancy organization, MECON plays a vital role in supporting industries in their transition towards sustainable and low carbon operations. With decades of experience in engineering, project management, and environmental services, MECON contributes to designing and implementing technologies that reduce environmental impacts while ensuring industrial growth. Sir, we provide our solutions to the clients. I would like to mention an example of a mining project wherein chromite mines is there, and chromite, as you know, this Sukinda Valley. It is a hotspot for chromium deposit of our country. It is about more than 99% of chromium deposits are there. So there is a very pertinent issue with hexavalent chromium, which is carcinogenic in nature. So MECON has provided its services for ETP and restricting the hexavalent chromium going into the pathway of biomagnification and going into the plants and animals and into the environment. So we have provided the services for ETP, installation of ETP in Sukinda Valley, sir, for our esteemed client, Odisha Mining. Sir, in metallurgical sector, we have given our designing energy efficient steel and metallurgical plants incorporating technologies such as coke dry quenching, waste heat recovery systems, and recovery of coke oven, blast furnace, and BOF gases. Use of pulverized coal injection based blast furnace design supporting low carbon steel making pathways aligned with mission life and green steel initiatives. We provide services towards ZLD, zero liquid discharge system, for our industry partners like SAIL and NMDC and other esteemed clients for advanced effluent treatment and recycling the water, residual water for the industrial usage. For green belt development, we used to provide our services for ecology and biodiversity mitigation measures as part of EIAs and providing EMP solutions to the clients. Sir, environmental compliance and sustainability, as you must be knowing that MECON is a QCI NABET accredited consultant and a recognized NABL accredited laboratory we do have. So we provide services towards environmental impact assessment, management, providing management solutions to the clients. And we also take care of the baseline and regular post-project monitoring services through our NABL accreditation laboratory. So furthermore, the transition to a low carbon economy that requires an adoption of emerging technologies such as green hydrogen, renewable energy integration, and carbon capture and digital monitoring system. So MECON plays a pivotal role in evaluating these technologies and helping industries implement them in a technically and economically feasible manner.
Okay.
Sir,
Tata Steel has got a target of a net zero, and they say that they wish to achieve net zero by 2070. When you talk to steel companies or companies like NMDC or clients into the other spaces, there are many clients that you people are working with. You are not an environmental consultant. You are a consultant to basically help them in terms of EPC contracts and other things. So how do you think your capabilities align with the global standards for the environmental issues, or are you doing projects separately in your project affected areas to ensure that environmental issues you people are contributing in terms of your CSR or your sustainability initiatives? What are the things that you are doing?
Sir, like we have already mentioned that apart from only directly giving to the solutions to the environmental field, we have also provided solution to the metallurgical industry as a pioneer steel consultant, as a think tank for steel industry. And we have our Tata Steel is also our esteemed client. JSW is our client, and steel sales all units.
Okay, understood. Anybody from Jute Corporation of India? Let me request again before I go back to the the experts in the field. Bhaskar Jyoti Mahanta, Sanjay Kunduji, Suti Kakkar, former secretary, Kuldeep Singh Datwalia. Before they have not spoken as of now. Anybody from Numaligarh Refinery? Sushmita Patra, Mitra. Anybody from Numaligarh Refinery? Would you like to speak? Is there anybody from Numaligarh Refinery? Because you've set up a bamboo-based ethanol plant, something which was inaugurated on 14th September by the Honorable Prime Minister in Golaghat in Assam. And it has been one of the biggest developments in the field of environmental friendly initiatives. Okay, Madam Suti Kakkar, your views on the CGI's comments about environmentalists stalling development initiatives. Your views?
I would not like to get into that, Amit. They are CGI's views. But I would like to just say a few things which I feel I must bring it to the notice of this August committee, to this to people attending. One has heard so many new concepts and things, but I always feel that whenever government is planning something or whenever we think out of a policy, we forget that to involve the people. Of course, Arun mentioned it, that we must involve people and communities if we want our policies to succeed, and in the case of the environment, for it to be renewable and sustainable. Now, people on the ground, they are not valuing the inheritance that we have got of good water. Water is a crisis everywhere, and water is essential for life. People are taking out morchas for.
Ma'am, the center has already spent its share of 2.09 lakh crores.
No, it's not a question of spending money. It's a question of involving people, which is so much more difficult. You can always spend money. See,
yes,
it's like you spend money on your family.
I was seeing a report wherein in Chhattisgarh and Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, people are still striving for a glass of clean water.
Yes.
And that's reported in India.
And unless you involve people in water conservation, water is not going to come back. See, you spend a lot of money on your family, but if you don't give time to your children, you will alienate them. It is the same way. You have to involve people. You have to get them down to preserving all the water resources that we have. Be it ponds, be it lakes, be it wells. Wells are very important. Rivers, rivulets, boulis, you name it. And we are neglecting all those, artifacts that we got. And in some way, not artifacts, I would say, but whatever we got, we are neglecting. Because nobody is keeping the ponds and lakes clean. People are not involved. You go to any village, every water body is dumped with a lot of kachra, and it is all getting silted up. People are just not doing it, and they're not valuing what they have inherited from their ancestors, I would say, and good practices that were there are being forgotten. So it is something that we need to think very deeply whenever we make a policy. It's good to make a policy. It's good to spend a lot of money on it. It is good to give, budget for it so that you can move people. But involving the people, the person on the ground, to look after that, what you have created, and and preserve it is what is important. You have to work out a methodology for it. As you were talking of UP, I must tell you of a very good example. Recently, DM Azamgarh has rejuvenated a river, Tamas ko rejuvenate kiya hai through people's participation. And I'm associated with a small NGO called Ibtada in Alwar. They have gone into water conservation in a big way, revived so many ponds, pokhras, and rivulets and things, you name it. And this is the kind of thing we need to do. You make your policy, you filter it down to the state government, you filter it down further, but it has to involve people on the ground. This is all that I would like to say today. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. It's amazing the toils of this sector that you've been able to attract to this webinar. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, please stay put with me for a few more minutes. I will request Mr. Sanjay Kundu. Sanjay Kundu is the former chairman of Brahmaputra Board. Brahmaputra Board is a critical most organization in the Northeast and India. I would not like to waste any further time because people have been speaking. The prologues and preludes have been already said. Dr. Sanjay Kundu, former DGP Himachal, Chairman Brahmaputra Board, Joint Secretary in NMCG, Jal Jeevan Mission. Over to you. Environment, water.
Thank you, sir. Actually, water is very key for overall environmental protection. And I'll just try to give the macro view, and then there are others who are talking, and we can take the questions later. So India is a blessed land. So we have about 4,000 billion cubic meter of water. 1 billion cubic meter is about 1 kilometer cube. So that is the evaporation transpiration cycle. But a lot of it is in the cycle, and some of it cannot be economically and geographically used. So our total net availability is 1,130 billion cubic meter. That is 1130 kilometer cube. That is the standard SI unit for that. Out of which 700 billion cubic meter is surface water, and 430 billion cubic is groundwater. This is renewable groundwater. And for your kind information, Brahmaputra in Dhubri is 600 billion cubic meter of water. It's huge. It is, in terms of volume, it is the fourth largest in the world. And it also gets the highest sill load in the world, 800 million metric tons. Whole of Ganga Basin is 525. The issue with Brahmaputra is that this is the larger issue, basically, and it impacts on environment also. We have a lot of water, but we have problem of spatial and temporal variation. East and Northeast gets a lot of water, they cannot use it. West is totally dry, and about 75% of our rainfall comes in monsoon, and we cannot use it. That is why there are runoffs, and finally all this goes to the sea. It is very important that we use, as Madam Shruti Kakar said, without water we can do nothing. It's the basis of life. It's basis of all economic activity. It is basis of development. There was a Swedish scientist by the name Falkenmark. She was a lady scientist, and you can also Google. So she gave a Falkenmark index that is 1,700 meter cube per person per year. So that is the normal. So the water in India has not changed. It's the same because it remains in the cycle. It is because of increasing population that our per capita availability of water has gone down. So at the time of independence, it was more than 5,000 meter cube, but in 2011 census, it came down to 1545 meter. So we are already water stressed nation. Now, what do we do in these circumstances? What are the issues? The issues are basically pollution, as Madam Shruti also said, conservation. Then we places like Singapore and the West, they have a lot of reuse. They treat the water, but our treatment capacity is only 2%. So our rivers are polluted. Now, what has happened is because rivers have got polluted, we have started extracting groundwater. So groundwater, there are about 7,000 assessment blocks. When I was in the ministry, 16% of them were dark or red zones, where extraction is actually more than recharge. So groundwater is going down. So this has become very serious in places like Punjab, Rajasthan, Haryana, because they've hit the second aquifer, which has got radioactive material. So a lot of these farmers are suffering from cancer. I would not say that the government has not done much. I will try and I will agree to some extent with what CGI says. A lot of these what environmentalists have done is alarmist. And I'll just tell you two examples what we did during my time in the ministry. One was the notification of National Mission for Clean Ganga. So that is my notification, 7th October 2016. So we realized Ganga cleaning has been going on since 1985 when Mr. Rajiv Gandhi was the Prime Minister. It was a World Bank scheme. It was under Ministry of Environment. Nothing much was done. So it was brought to Ministry of Water Resources. We realized that this is the whole of government and whole of society approach. So we made something called National Ganga Basin Authority, where we made the Prime Minister as the chairperson. And that then ministry level, then state level, then DM level, and then NMCG level. We also made two objectives were very vast or wide. First was Nirmal Ganga, other was Aviral Ganga, third was Jan Ganga. Madam also said that unless you involve people, you will not be successful. And fourth was Gyan Ganga. So there has to be some intellectual input also. I'm very happy, and there were a lot of pollutions. For instance, we criminate our people close to Ganga, and we throw dead bodies. Then there are STPs, ETPs, then defecation, open defecation. Luckily, Swachh Bharat mission was also timed. So it's basically a success story. I would not say that Ganga has totally been clean, but it's much better than what it was 10 years back. And today, Gangetic dolphins are coming right up. One more thing we did was Sardar Sarovar. If you remember, Meda Patkar had been raising this issue for very long. We went to the Supreme Court. We explained that this matter needs to be settled. And Supreme Court accepted our view. And finally, there was a settlement. We paid up all the project affected families, BAFs and all that. And we ensured the paisa is sent, basically given to every project affected family, all the tribals. And finally, the dam height was raised. Once the dam height was raised, the volume became more, and that water was available for all these 4 states and even Rajasthan for drinking water, irrigation, and all that. I don't think this is a disappointing situation. If you get the right kind of officers, right kind of political mindset, I think saving environment is doable in India. Thank you.
Thank you, Kunduji. I think you are from a state. You led the administration, policing of the state, and the state of Himachal by the back of your hand, inextricably linked or very, very crucial and critical, because Uttarakhand and Himachal have been at the forefront of most of the biggest or unfortunate disasters from the flooding 2013. We remember that huge thing that happened in Uttarakhand, the northern, cloud bursts and floods. We'll get all those things. The Joshimath disaster in Uttarakhand, because of that landslides and the entire city going down by some inches, and now today we can see with the Char Dham Yatras having started 30 kilometer long queues for people to reach somewhere, but before I get all that, Dhatwalia Sahab, you are a Pahar ka man, and you've been the, the spokesperson and the mouth of the government. Even during Prakash Javadekar time, Prakash Javadekar I invited him today. He's also handling the Tiger Reserve project as a chairman, Tiger Authority as a chairman. Dhatwalia Sahab, your views on how the yeah, please.
Good morning, everyone. This is a mere coincidence that after spending 36 years in the government, that too in Delhi and other places, now I am actually speaking from Himachal and people also luckily, my friend Mr. Kundu had been DGP of Himachal and Madam Stuti Kakkaji, I had worked with her. Now, I will just narrate on this very great day, World Environment Day, what I noticed in 50 years, the changes which had taken place in a hilly state like Himachal. The village from which I am speaking at the moment, I did my matriculation from here, and 50 years after, I am speaking from the same village. I would like to say that time we used to work in the fields, there was no concept of fans. When I did my matriculation, at that time the electricity came. There was no electricity till then in Himachal, in my district. Now, if you see the change, first of all, after electricity, people had the other fuel area, but now the people are switching over to solar energy. So this is on the power sector side. Coming to the forestry and environment side, something very interesting has happened. The fields which we used to cultivate as students in the early days, because we had left the village, so the cultivation part stopped. The land got converted into grassy land. Over the years, it changed into bushes. And now, after 50 years, again reverse engineering is taking place. Means that Himachal government has a horticulture project called HP Shiva. Now, where the farmers are pooling their lands and the horticulture plantation is being done by the villager with the help of the government. Now you see the cycle. So this is one trend which has taken place in a hilly state like Himachal. There used to be single roads, traffic was the minimum, but today it is totally reversed. What has happened is that now the roads are 4 lane, something unexpected in a hilly state like Himachal. Now, here comes the environmental angle. Whether you are cutting the hills, landslides are taking place, forestry is getting disturbed, or your plantation is being compensated for maintaining the ecology as well as the environment. Now the forest department, agriculture, horticulture department, they are taking care of the environmental side. But what I will say, the process of urbanization in a state of Himachal Pradesh, we have to make a multi-modal or a mixed approach for our development. While we have to maintain our ecology and environment, the social corporate responsibility, which we always talk from the capital, national capital or state capitals, has not reached in the villages. Can we think of like our rain shelters, toilets? We had been saying that so under Swachh Bharat, we have maintained, this concept of providing toilets to all villagers in all villages, but not criticizing or undermining the efforts which have taken place in a stretch of 2-kilometer road in the village where there are 4 or 5 bus stops. There is hardly one rain shelter, and there are no rain shelters. There is no toilet facility for the villager. So I think with the social corporate responsibility, instead of starting in the metros and the national capitals or state capital, let's try to go down to the village level, and instead of top to bottom, let us try from bottom to the top and converge both the development processes. So this is what I feel that it's not a case of Himachal. This is for the country. This is globally global warming and all the environmental changes taking place need to be maintained by the experts. Professionals are working. Everything is appreciated, but I personally feel that there is a lot yet to be done, and our population stays in the villages. So we have to take care of these people. And at least I can happily say that the journey which I started in 1976, in 2026, after 50 years, I am happily establishing myself in that village, even though my roots and working with the government of India in Noida or in the Delhi sector, that is also there. So I wish all the very best on this particular day to all my colleagues and wish all the people happy Environment Day. So thank you very much from my side.
Datwalia ji, your video had a problem, I think, because of the bandwidth. Anyways, it is always a pleasure to listen to people like and learn from you. And it is an opportunity. Here we cannot discuss everything in an hour and a half or 2 hours, with so many speakers coming on and more people joining. Bhaskar Manta ji, former DGP Assam, somebody
Namaskar.
who knows these things, quite well. He is an avid writer. I recently wrote an article on carbon credits, and linked it with the GDP of a state which has got 100 plus seats out of 126 recently, a very, very strong mandate in favor of the ruling party. And congratulations to the entire state of Assam and the people of Northeast for this kind of, I would say, thumping mandate that they've given. Now, Bhaskar Mantaji, you're talking to me about the carbon credits. Could you take us through how you link the carbon credits to the GSDP of a state?
Actually, namaskar and greetings to all participants, esteemed colleagues and friends, on account of the World Environment Day. And also thanks so much to Vision India, Amit ji, for this wonderful arrangements of this webinar, which is the great requirement of the day. Anyway, you were talking about the article that I wrote recently. It was actually on the basic agenda, immediate walk in hand for the new government, which has just taken over. And today is the swearing in ceremony of a whole lot of ministers. Anyway, there I talked about the flood issue, having been their electoral promise as well. Assam has been bogged by a massive flood every year. And it causes losses of thousands and thousands of crores of rupees. And it has become an annual festival. People have begun to learn to live with it all right. But then we have a lot of water everywhere, not a drop to drink. And that's how the situation is like in Assam. And government perhaps is going to take it as on a mission mode this time. And in so many words, Honorable Home Minister of the country also had given the assurance this time flood will be a particular focus. Now there I mentioned about raising funds also through the carbon credits. 36% of the forest cover is there in Assam. And for each ton of carbon dioxide absorbed by the forest, it is turned into a unit of carbon credit. And each credit costs, gets you an amount of INR 1,500 or so. So we have lakhs and lakhs of carbon credits that we can generate, and out of which 500 to 800 crores annually we can raise out here in Assam, which must be pumped back into prevention of soil erosion on the rivers, activating the dead rivers or rivulets, etc. And most importantly, dredging the river Brahmaputra. It's and making it not a Brahmaputra. With Brahmaputra, people of Assam have a very romantic kind of a relationship. It is not revered like a goddess. No, it's in fact a river. It is one of the only, very few rivers of the world. And Brahmaputra is so massive, and people of Assam's lives depend upon Brahmaputra. And so this is what about the carbon credit that I had mentioned. But then Assam Police has been doing great job in terms of protection of forest and forest wealth. We have stopped poaching of rhinoceros altogether. I was DGP for 3 years and 3 months, and not one single rhino was killed. About prior to 2015, numbers of rhinos that were killed everywhere were to the tune of 18, 20, 25, 30, and it has become an international racket. Slowly and slowly, finally, we have come to a position when rhino extinction is no more a threat. And now it is a great revenue earner because tourism has really got a massive boost because of the rhinoceros out here. And we have, in fact, land rhinoceros all over the world. And also on elephant, human, man and elephant conflict, that has been a perennial problem in Assam. And on that account as well, we have formed a task force along with the forest people, and a lot of work on that account also is being done. And perhaps Sanjay Kundu could be brought back once again, because this flood issue has been such an issue that I don't know, for whatever reason, but China is also building dams very close to Arunachal Pradesh, and that could be having a geopolitical repercussion out here too. And now we also plan to build a lot of dams out there for generation of hydroelectricity in Arunachal especially. And now, in the backdrop of all these, how the Brahmaputra flow could be, ensured to be continuing to go in a manner, carry on in a manner that helps the national scenario and people's lives in particular. Thank you.
This you were talking to me about the Strait of Malacca project. It is only just let me complete. There's only 40 nautical miles from the Great Nicobar project. Now, this is something.
That's true.
This is something which is in the thick of news because of the kind of ecological impact it is going to have. This $9 billion magnum opus of the India's maritime kind of history. If it at all, yes, I think Kunduji has something to say on this particular issue.
See, the thing is that I'll agree with Bhaskar sir. He's 1 year senior to me, and we've also worked closely. And maybe I should come over sometime to Guwahati because this is a perennial and perpetual problem. And now engineering has evolved quite a lot, and we need to find a solution to Brahmaputra floods. Floods are okay, but what is even more distressing is erosion. Because if you are a farmer, you have land close to Brahmaputra. If it gets eroded, where will you go? It leads to destitution. So there are serious issues. And this silting and then braiding and meandering is a big issue because the river changes the course and all. So, sir, sometime I should come to Guwahati and let us discuss there. And because I used to meet the previous CM, that time I was chairman Brahmaputra board, and we did a lot of work in Majoli. Actually, we reclaimed Majoli. And Majoli, the largest river island in the world, was getting submerged. But we reclaimed it. Today it is very nice. It's very close to Kaziranga also. Regarding this Great Nicobar, the thing is, see, in India, we need to balance our national interest and environmental interest. So I come from a state, Himachal Pradesh, which has got bordered with China 240 kilometers. And our environmental laws and other laws did not allow us to build any infrastructure along the border. But China was not prevented. The same kind of topography is there. They got roads, they got all high-tech infrastructure very close to the border. What do you do if next day they march into your territory? This happened in Galwan. I think we need to balance everything. And this is a world order we have to understand. And we will be able to protect our environment if we are able to protect ourselves as nations. So my only wish is Nicobar or any other project, we have to take a balanced view. It should not be, while encroachment is allowed, but you cannot build roads, you cannot build infrastructure because the laws, environmental laws are so strict that you can do nothing. So I think a balanced view, and the balance should tilt towards national interest. Thank you.
Yeah, I think, Sanjay Kunduji has really, secondly, in this short span of time, put it across. There has to be a balance. You see, we cannot ignore the kind of huge mammoth, transcontinental, maritime costs or the logistic costs that India, goes through because of not having a station, in the deep seas near the Indira Point. So now something like a Great Andaman Nicobar project or the Nicobar project would be something which would not only help us economically, it would also help us from a defense perspective. Bhaskar Manta, before I bring in Professor Iyer and Rajkumar Chaudhary ji again together, because this Brahmaputra, huge water, solar experts with me, hydro experts with me, we would like to see how they could really give some inputs about, and then probably a team of the stalwarts like Bhaskar Manta, Sanjay Kundu, Professor Iyer, Rajkumar Chaudhary. He's also chairman of JERC. I mean, Chaudhary ji, you need to harness this huge, Brahmaputra water capacity. Yes, there are issues. When there is development, there are issues with ecological issues with rivers, tributaries. I would not get into individual companies. But then, before I ask Iyer Saab and Chaudhary Saab, Mahantaji, this human-elephant conflict, human-rhino conflict. I mean, again, in Maharashtra, the development tiger conflict. In Assam, Manas conflict. In this thing, Taoba conflict in Maharashtra. How do you think, when the state governments collude, if I may use the word, with these industries to hand over, wildlife tracts of lands? It is not something rocket science to understand. I just share my, limited experience. 20 years back, I was traveling from Jorhat to Shivsagar Golaghat. On the highway, the leopard jumped over my car. On the highway, 60 kilometers, a leopard, when I was coming back out of the tea gardens, I was going from Jorhat to Kaziranga this time. Elephants. I mean, how do you take care of these things?
Well, you'd be happy to know that the government of Assam has really come up with a fantastic technological solution to it. And it's a massive corridors for the wildlife is being constructed with an investment of thousands of crores. The work is already kind of begun in the sense that the basic formalities have started. And so it's only a matter of time that the corridors, specifically for the wildlife around Kaziranga, is now going to happen. As far as the investigations of these problems of elephant killing, etc., is concerned, and Sample is appears to be taking it very strongly. We've got an in-house, in fact, during my tenure, we have recruited the former DG of Gujarat. He's a forensic expert, specializing on animal forensics. And the kind of investigations that we have conducted, we have really broken the backbone of the smugglers of wildlife. And they really sent a very strong message. An Operation Falcon that was put in place by Assam Police has resulted especially on this. But the conflict will continue to remain. It is a conflict between a search for a modernity, search for a better kind of way of life, while maximizing your effort in retaining the natural balance between a human and nature. So, sincere effort is on. You also mentioned about the ecological challenges that have come up in bringing about solutions for national security, especially near the Strait of Malacca or for that matter in the Andamans. You just cannot do it. These basics, these developments have to be brought about. Otherwise, India would be at a terrible loss in terms of international security scenario. Now India has announced its arrival in a massive way in the blue water, or for that matter, the green water oceans. And India is a gatekeeper, in fact, of the Malacca Strait, through which, thousands of Chinese ships are moving. And we have a massive kind of an advantage over the rest of the world on this account. If we do not bring about, changes in terms of development and inputs of that kind in around Andamans, which is being done, then you cannot. That's why the striking a balance between the environmental laws and the requirement of the nation is of paramount importance. Here, brains should, kind of work together so that this balance could be ensured and not unnecessarily getting involved in, debates on these issues.
Thank you. Thank you. Mantaji, please stay with me. Chaudhary ji, Chairman JERC, Professor Gopal Krishnan Iyer, the man who knows energy, and he's somebody who's an expert. Brahmaputra Northeast is just, we've got two experts speaking from the territory, former DGPs. Iyer Saab, Chaudhary Saab, आपका camera off है. Your camera is off.
Yes, it is on.
No, he's not gone. He is going to be there. Chaudhary ji, what are your views? Because you were also chairman of NHPC, and Subhanshiri project is from Arunachal. And is it, how do you think this water capacity can be harnessed to its maximum potential? Because India is far behind. Forget about nuclear. Nuclear, though we've not even started. In the last 50 years, we've reached 8 gigawatts. In terms of water, which is one of the cleanest forms of renewable energy, and Northeast having a huge potential, what are your views?
Thank you, Goenkaji. Just now, the problem of flood, acute problem of flood and soil erosion of Assam is discussed. And before that, the depleting water level is discussed. So the biggest solution is that for the flood and soil erosion in Assam, the tributaries of Brahmaputra, all the tributaries of Brahmaputra should be dammed. The construction of dams should be completed. The storage capacity should be created. And Professor Iyer mentioned about the Suvansi Lower project. Goenkaji, I will mention you the activist, various activists like Krishak Mukti Sangram Samiti and others. They stopped the construction of the project for 9 years. Now the project is completed and 1,000 capacity commissioned, 1,000 yet to be commissioned. The reservoir water body, huge water body. If you get the chance, please visit the Suvansi Lower project and go to the reservoir area. It is a huge water body, more than 45 kilometers. Once the project is completed in all respect and water level at full reservoir level, the reservoir length is 48-49 kilometers. Can you think? All along the Chief Minister of Arunachal Pradesh, Deputy Chief Minister and their cabinet, they all traveled from dam side to the last point of the reservoir, 45 kilometers. They were mesmerized. They were so happy that such a huge, long water bodies. All along the reservoir, there is a thick forest. Now the water level of the entire area has increased, and certainly within very short period, there is going to be a thick corridor of forest. So a big environmental gain. There are other tributaries in the Arunachal of the Brahmaputra river. So Kamla project, 60-kilometer reservoir length. So construction is going to be started very soon. The Suvansi upper construction is going to be started. The Italian project, 3,097 megawatt, the construction is going to be started. So there is a need to create big reservoir in the Arunachal Pradesh, big storage capacity in the Arunachal Pradesh. That is the best solution for flood problem and soil erosion problem of the Assam. Not only this, it is going to increase the renewable energy of the country, and it is going to be to increase the environmental protection. So these are the things, Goenkaji. And furthermore, I want to just mention that earlier the forest degradation and these things were discussed. There is my suggestion that development should also go hand in hand. So there are so many linear projects, road projects and rail projects. What I feel that there should be land acquisition at least 30 meter both side, and there should be forest corridor both side of the linear project. So that is going to be to boost the climate, the carbon capture and decarbonation of the environment in a big way for the road project and railway project. I suggest through your platform that you will take up with this. The madam talked about the increase of the water level. So in the villages, there should be desiltation of the ponds, and new ponds should be created under various schemes of the government, so that the water, rainwater, will be retained and ground will be recharged. So that is my suggestion, and my suggestion is that all hydro projects in Arunachal Pradesh and any other places, all pumped storage projects should be developed and it should be supported. I will mention you, Goenkaji, Siang Upper Multipurpose Project. China is constructing Motok Dam 60,000 megawatt project. How we can save it to our people? So we have planned the Siang Upper Multipurpose Project. 90 meter of the dam top level will remain empty to absorb any release of the sudden flood from the Motok Dam. 9.2 BCM of water. So it should be constructed. 11,200 megawatt also electricity will be generated. And that 9.2 BCM water will be stored at the receding period of the monsoon period, and that will support the flora and fauna downstream of the dam during the lean period. So that is the big way, because China is at the same time planning to divert the water from Motok Dam to their the water scarcity area. So in both ways, this Siang Upper Multipurpose Project will help. But unfortunately, our people, the people of Arunachal, various activists, various NGOs, and the NGOs influenced, funded by the China, they are opposing the project by tooth and nail. But it is a very good project, and it should be treated as it is to protect the people, to protect the property. This project must be constructed. Thank you.
Chaudhary ji, you know, I've got Professor Iyer back. I think there are some points that need to be flagged by, Sanjay ji and Bhaskar Jyoti Mahanta ji. But before I bring them on, and Professor Iyer, I was actually, pinning you with Chaudhary ji. Before Chaudhary ji, there was a huge discussion about the kind of capacity that Brahmaputra has.
I heard that.
Both of you together to talk about how to harness this. And you are somebody I want. Bhaskar ji and Kundu Saab, Professor Iyer is an authority on the subject of energy. He is somebody whom you can probably take along. We can connect together. Sometimes you guys can connect, and then these kind of forums, it is a platform for people to synergize rather than work in kind of silos. Now, Professor Iyer, your suggestions, second suggestions on how to harness Brahmaputra without ecological damage. It has been known for floods, but how can those floods be diverted to generate electricity and make India? Maharashtra is having electric cuts 7 hours a day. That nobody talks about. You told me. Uttar Pradesh still use lamps. So, please tell me what is to be done. Please enlighten the viewers about this.
See, the beautiful thing about, we have Rajkumar Chaudhary ji with us. We know each other, and I think I've known all the NHPC chairmen since the Yogendra Prasad, the great man. I'm his biographer. So I would always stand with hydropower and pump storage as our key renewable energy. Solar is fine, everything is fine, but that's not the game. Because we have a challenge here in the grid. Just doing the base load of the grid is not enough. We have to go to peak storages, because if we have to ramp up, I will give you the last figures. Last peak figure for us was 270 gigawatt. What is our installed capacity? I told in the beginning, 525 gigawatt. So only 270 gigawatt we have been able to go. You can't ramp up that without having adequate capacity of hydropower, renewable, and peak storage. The third peak is gas-based power plants. And 20 gigawatt of gas power plants are lying idle. In this context, now we come to Brahmaputra. My view is a long time we are all strategizing to make a very large hydro project and all that on that, or a couple or 3 or 4 projects to just, and our entire fixation is on what China is doing. So again, with my due respect to Chaudhary Saab, मेरे views थोड़े से अलग है. I feel we must hybridize pump storage at Assam, and that need not be at Brahmaputra itself. You can take the water away, a kind of a hybrid between on river and off river. You take pipelines, take the water away, and water is only one time taken in pump storage. In pump storage, the water what is taken keeps circulating again and again. You are not adding more water. The quantity of water once taken is quantum. You can produce gigawatt. I'll give you an example. Without mincing my words, a small project, just like the Greenco, it's seen as a small project. It's a big project at Pinapuram I visited in Andhra Pradesh. It was the first one we mentored with NREDCap. It is a 1.68 gigawatt delivery into the grid. 9 months it is delivering. So what it has done is power cuts are reducing because of that. Because that one project cannot reduce all the power cuts, but it reduced the power cut in some of the urban cities in Andhra Pradesh. This can be the case, like in any river, even in Telangana, there are this Mosi River is there. If Mosi River, even it's a dirty water, you can take it to Rangareddy district, somewhat with a pipeline. It's a good investment, although pipeline will have an investment. But once you take, it is a one-time delivery in a catchment area. Same to be done with Brahmaputra. Go to the districts which do not have Brahmaputra, take the water away and deliver decentralized pump storage. Now, if this is hybridized with the development of this 11 gigawatt project, others, we can definitely compete with China in a very reasonable way. See, I explained to you that China has 1.1 terawatts of solar. But what is charging them? It is a 500 gigawatt plus of hydropower and another 50 to 60 gigawatt of pump storage. That is, they have some 550 gigawatt of pump storage, which is bigger than our national capacity. So if we don't wake up now in understanding this hybrid energy, which I call as hybrid integrated renewable energy approach, just doing one, elephant and 6 blind men approach has to go away. You can't just develop solar and say now it is
There's some particular example of this kind of an auxiliary arrangement that you're talking about.
It is already happening in Andhra Pradesh under my guidance. It has happened since 2020. I've been mentoring the officers of Andhra Pradesh.
So Brahmaputra, your suggestions? Chaudhary ji, you are in charge of Ladakh and Jammu Kashmir. Indus Water Treaty, 80-20 principle. Indus Water Treaty, 80-20 principle. What is the current situation considering the kind of deadlock India is facing with Pakistan?
See, I tell you, the one thing we are very clear: if we develop the hydropower and as I told you, with some pump storage nearby in Jammu or somewhere, whatever they want, they must develop some hybrid potential over there. You can't put too much solar in the mountain. It is a challenge because like Bhutan has 5 gigawatt, we have only in the Ladakh the 7 gigawatt to 10 gigawatt can be put. But that we need to take the ground level people with us, that somebody was mentioning here, some very eminent personalities.
Yes, you're right. Over to Chaudhary ji. Chaudhary ji, Indus Water Treaty, you are the chairman of electricity generation for Ladakh and Jammu Kashmir, India, Pakistan, China. What is to be done?
You want my answer? Chaudhary ji के लिए क्या देता हूं मैं?
अरे माइक ऑन करो, माइक चौधरी जी यार माइक ऑन करो.
Yeah, Goenka ji, yes, after the suspension of the Indus Water Treaty, many hydro projects have been initiated. And for example, the Dulhasti Stage 2, 260 megawatt construction work have already been started. Uri 1 Stage 2, 240 megawatt construction work has already been started recently. The Sawalkot project, 1856 megawatt is sanctioned. And many other projects, the state government has been asked to identify and initiate the approval of those projects to start the construction activities. You must be aware that the government of India has approved some budgetary support for the small hydro project also, and particularly for the bordering areas. one days, and the Ladakh also power department, they are planning so many small hydro projects to start so that they can harness the tributaries of various the Indus River there in Ladakh. So apart from that, the government has sanctioned few projects to increase the consumptive use of water. Unless you use the consumptive use, go for the consumptive use, you cannot harness the water. So Chenab River, the link 3 project sanctioned. So Chenab River, one barrage will be constructed in Lahore Spiti, and the water will be diverted to the Bias River, and from Bias to the network of that, and it will irrigate the land of Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, up to Rajasthan. So the availability of water will increase.
What happens in Punjab is, because the elections are coming next year, ये जो पांच जो नदियां है ना, पंच people are focusing more on the sixth one. घग्गर of things. ये घग्गर के पीछे लोग पड़े हैं. We'll come to those things. Achalendra Reddy ji, you know, please switch on your camera, sir. Reddy ji. We have now 5 to 7 more minutes, 7-8 more minutes. We'll close the show with Jute Corporation of India, Mekong, Numaligarh Refinery. Thank you to all of them. Achalendra Reddy ji, you know, you are the champion of biodiversity. You're the man who knows the forest and flora and fauna so well. You know, underwater, the marine forest flora fauna, I am told the greatest oxygen produced is by a particular plant, I forget the name, which is underwater in the sea. Could you take us through how India could harness this 7,500 kilometers of maritime coastline, which has got plenty of water? We've got rivers. How we can harness underwater forest and fauna for cleaning our air?
As you know, now the coastline length has been, I mean to say, updated. It is around 11,000 kilometers now from 7,000. That is the latest figure. You can Google it and see it. And that has been done by all the Survey of India and other all organizations. And that is one good thing. Second point, as you rightly mentioned, yes, the sea, the underwater marine biodiversity is very, very important. Of late, we are now, when compared to terrestrial biodiversity, marine biodiversity also has its very important role in improving the bioeconomy of our country. Many of the marine bioorganisms, now the research is even CSIR, Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, Indian Council of Medical Research, and many other organizations are doing very, intensive research to get out of molecules, different pharma products, cosmetic products, and so on and so forth. So the point is that you mentioned one significant example I would like to mention here is that the seaweeds have a great potential to improve our nutritional capacity, also nutritional values also. The seaweeds, for example, Kappa ficus alvarezi, it is called red algae, and it is being cultivated now. The technology has been developed by Central Marine Salt Research Institute, Bhavnagar in Gujarat. It is there. So this technology is being now, Andhra Pradesh government also is venturing into. Tamil Nadu has already done it. And many coastal states now are adopting these latest technologies to improve the biomass and bioproducts from the marine sources, marine biodiversity. And you might have heard that now the United Nations also has come out with a new protocol, new agreement that is biodiversity beyond national jurisdiction. And of course, up to we say that economic zone within the, from the shoreline, they're all prescribed things are there. So there is a great potential for us to see that both, extraction and exploitation of marine bioresources, but at the same time, there also the environment factor will get into the picture. So the marine biologists and the all other concerned. For example, National Coastal Zone Management Institute is there in Chennai, and Marine Fisheries Institutes are there. Our Marine Seafood Exporting Agency, MPADA, is there. Is doing wonderful job. This year, last year, we have exported. We have earned maximum foreign exchange from export of seafood. You can see the latest news. 25,
there was
26.
a report, there was a report when in Bhagalpur that the dolphin project was started. The dolphin project was started in Bhagalpur in Bihar, and it has become Vasundhara Lake or river or something. It has become one of the most, most in terms of the oxygen measurement. That particular city, from being one of the most polluted, it has become one of the most oxygen-rich cities. So this is an example of what can be done from
that is true. It is a very great successful success story of dolphin is a bio indicator, because the population is now stabilized or increasing. So as you rightly mentioned, as we reduce the pollution in our fresh, whether it is the fresh water or in the sea coast, which because the cities sewage is sometimes untreated entering into the seashore. Nearby the beaches and other things. So that as we improve things, as you rightly mentioned, the organisms are coming to life and their populations are increasing. We should be very happy that. That's why what I meant to say is that the environmental conservation should be mainstream. I feel it has been done to a great extent, but still we have to every project.
The Amrit Sarovar project of the Prime Minister, with so many 500 plus sarovars being created across the country.
The wetland mission is there. Wetland mission is there, and Ramsar sites 85 already have been declared. India is leading in that field, and really it is very
But with all of this, you were also you were the chairman of Biodiversity Commission. Dal Lake, when I went to Dal Lake, I felt that it is nowhere near what I expected just a few years back. It was in September. The temperatures were around 37, 38. We were sweating like hell. There were weeds. From weeds to waste is good in the articles, but it was full of, kind of weeds, the entire Dal Lake. So as chairman, and, we've seen these hotels and other things. We'll come to all those things are different. But from one of the biggest lakes of the country, becoming one of the most polluted lakes, what were the steps that you people took to ensure that this doesn't happen?
The wetland development authorities have come up in almost all the states, and now they are being strengthened. This is it is a management of bioresource of the lakes. There are invasive alien species. They are called sometimes, for example, in around Delhi or any other places, we see Icornia, that is a water hyacinth, is one of the very noxious invasive alien species which spreads like wildfire in all the lakes and reduces the oxygen content in the water. So like that, Wetland Development Authority is taking, is being strengthened in every state, and there is a mission, Wetland Development, and there are international funding. Now the lakes are going to be managed in a very scientific way, and therefore we can expect some good results shortly. And already for example, in Orissa, the famous lake, addition to the Chilka Lake, they have done wonderful job, and it has the international awards have been given. Now there are two more lakes in Andhra, for example, Pulicat Lake, Kolleru Lake are there, which are both fresh water and salt water. So if we can show some results here also, we can set an example. So my submission is that the Wetland Development Authorities needs a little bit of a structured organization, and both scientific and management point of view, we need to strengthen them. This is my viewpoint.
Thank you, Mr. Reddy. Towards the end now, we had both the IPS officers raising their flagging. Chaudhary ji was speaking, or Iyer Saab was speaking. Kunduji and Mahantaji, what are your views, sir? What were your points?
See, I'll just talk about both Brahmaputra and Indus. Because I have held policy in Ministry of Water Resources, and I was also head of India's delegation to COP22 and World Water Forum and UN and all that. What you have to realize is water is finite. So water has to be number one priority. Power is secondary. Let us not make power as our primary this. because water you cannot get from anywhere, whereas power there are many sources. Second thing is talking of Brahmaputra. This river is called Yarling Sangpo in China. Luckily for us, only 10% of the flow is China, 90% flow is in India. So China has built huge dams. It has also diverted water. It has got huge potential both for water and power. Brahmaputra has 128 tributaries. And a lot of these tributaries are bigger than rivers like Satluj and Chenab. So we need to convince the people in Arunachal that they are sitting on a gold mine. As soon as these power projects are completed, you will be richer than Singapore. Now, what happens is there are a lot of NGOs, activists who object. But I think government has put a spanner and tightened the screw through FCRA. I think all these construction agencies should also give details of these activists to Government of India, and they're getting funds from outside. And for the kind information of Chaudhary Sahab, I used to deal with dams. Dams as a subject was under me in the ministry. I wrote the cabinet note for Dam Safety Act also. The law was also written by me. Now coming to Indus Water Treaty. Now that is a flawed treaty in the sense that it gave so much water to Pakistan and we gave our rights to Pakistan. I want to commend Government of India for keeping it in abeyance. And in the meantime, as he said, there's no consumptive use for states like Himachal, Jammu Kashmir, Ladakh, through which the rivers flows. I think it is time that we relook Indus Water Treaty. I had also recommended to the government. I think the time has come and we are in good hands. And I'm very happy that earlier, because the states and center were ruled by different states, different parties, that is why they had a difference of opinion. But because largely now the states and center are the same kind of political mindset, things are moving forward. And it is very happy days for us ahead. Thank you.
Anybody would like to talk about, before we close the show, one Jute Corporation? Kalyanji, are you still there? Kalyanji, Kaushikji, anybody there from Jute Corporation? Because Jute Corporation is some, it's the antidote to plastics that we have with us. Okay, we've got Mr. Bala Prasad who's joined us. Mr. Prasad, could you introduce yourself? Mr. Bala Prasad?
Yes. I am Bala Prasad. I am retired Special Secretary to the Government of India. I was PCCF and HOP of Manipur.
Could you put your camera on and because we've got towards the fag end you've joined. Achalendra Reddy just now spoke, Chairman, National Biodiversity Commission. We were just listening to Sanjay, Chairman of the Brahmaputra Board, Bala Prasad ji, Secretary of the Government of India, for which department? Mr. Prasad, you were Secretary, which department? Okay, Jute Corporation, anybody there? Okay, final remarks. Professor A.G. Iyer. Iyer Sahab, anybody could speak now on these things. Anybody has a plea? Anyone has views on Aravali? Okay, Iyer Sahab, closing remarks from you, and then we close the show. Okay, Mr. Prasad is back. Mr. Prasad, you are secretary. Which department?
I were Special Secretary to Government of India in Ministry of Panchayati Raj. But basically, I am an IFS officer of 1983 batch. I was PCCF and HOF of Manipur.
Okay, 83 batch settles it. 83 batch settles it. You were an IFS officer. Yes. IFOS or IFS?
We write IFS, Indian Forest Service is IFS, FOS is Foreign Service.
Sir, Prasad ji, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, because you come to my show through the reference of Arun Sinha, my elder brother.
Okay. Thank you.
Prasad ji, because you were the forest, it is lovely. I have Mr. Vasudeva who keeps joining me as the forest in charge for the forum. He was the PCCF Himachal. You were PCCF or DG Forest? What were you?
I was the PCCF and head of Forest Force, PCC stands for Principal Chief Conservator of Forest and Head of Forestry Force in Manipur.
Oh, wonderful. That's the state, from where Consul Himalaya Singh, one of my dear friend, comes. Lieutenant General Consul Himalaya Singh, K.S. Singh. Okay, Balaji, this Manipur has been through an upheaval. Whenever I speak to K.S. Singh, Lieutenant General K.S. Singh, the first Lieutenant General of Northeast, he keeps talking about the degradation of the ecological balance there, the wetlands being eroded, being destroyed, the forest and fauna being affected. You must have retired around 10 years back. What were your key observations then and now? Where have we reached? There has been a lot of political turmoil in Manipur. So what are your suggestions so that we, go back to realizing the true potential of a state like Manipur, which is inextricably linked because it is also the border state to Mizoram and so many other countries?
My first observation is that Manipur has a huge potential based on forest and environment. Actually, the development should be done not for the sake of development. It should be forest-based development. So forest can create, because Manipur is 10% valley, 90% hill. And 90% hill area has a huge potential of developing good quality of forest, and which can provide livelihood of the people staying there and good source of income and good quality of life even for the valley. Because most of the rivers which originate in the hills, they pass through valley. So the forest in hills are very important for the people in the hills as well as people in the valley. So there is a symbiotic relationship. Unfortunately, there has been some land order issue, and which has caused a division on ethnic line. But Manipur has huge potential, and people has huge capability for developing the state, and the state will have huge resilience, and they will come back.
See, you were the forest in charge of Manipur. Manipur is having that F-16 agreement with Mizoram, that is 16-kilometer that business exchange. They had this geographical arrangement with Mizoram, as far as I remember, which allowed for 16 kilometers of the Myanmar. Sorry, not with Myanmar. Yes. I'm sorry, not with Mizoram. Now, this particular arrangement with the government of Myanmar led to a lot of drug trafficking, led to a lot of destruction in that particular region, smuggling, drug trafficking, etc., etc. And forests were very, very, very critical in terms of being the cradle for such kind of activities, and they faced a lot of destruction. As a forest officer in charge of Manipur, what were your experiences, and today where do we stand?
You see, the boundary, people going across the boundary is has nothing to do with the drug trafficking, because many people from that side come to important market of this side, just like More is the most important border town. And it is a place where Dr. our Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose also had come and flagged the. There are places in Manipur where Indian National Army has come in 45 during the Second World War. So there are people this side of the border selling their produce from that side. Drug trafficking is a bad thing to happen. I'm not there to support, and but this can be controlled by effective policing. And there is because market comes to not market drug is not consumed only in that 10 kilometers this side or that side. The market is in across India. So drugs comes, and even it is an international issue. So effective policing control this, but forest in that 90% area, in hill area, is very important for the people in the hill area as well as people in the valley.
You see, there were not many opportunities of employment in states like Manipur and in Northeast. People depended a lot, like earlier stages in Karnataka, Tamil Nadu during those Virappan days. Even in Northeast, there has been a lot of economic, which is inextricably linked to the forests of states like Manipur, which share boundaries with states like Nagaland, Mizoram, etc. Now, how do you think this particular thing, led to a lot of discontent between the tribal communities and ultimately led to environmental issues? Because today what we see in Manipur, it has got all linked to the employment opportunities, and environment is also linked to particular issues. So how do you think those things have spanned out over the last 30 years? And you've been there during those times.
No, I have been there, so I'm proud to be there, and I don't mind going again back there. There is no issue, and even if there is next rebirth, and I'll like to work there. There's no issue on that. The area has huge potential, even for medicinal plant or minor forest produce. There are huge potential for sustainable collection and marketing.
Yeah, horticulture is supposed to be something which, was picking up in Tripura, Sikkim, and Manipur. But finally, it has really gone down the drain because of the socio-political tensions. So, any which ways, we'll have a different discussion on this. Closing remarks, Professor Iyer, Achalendra Reddy, closing remarks. Closing remarks, Professor Iyer. I think Iyer Saab is there.
Yeah.
Okay, Achalendra Reddy, former chairman, National Biodiversity, closing remarks.
Thank you a lot, Amit Goenka ji, for arranging a wonderful webinar and wonderful interaction with all eminent persons having both field experience as well as conceptual clarity on many issues related to environment. On the eve of this June 5th, the World Environment Day, we had a very useful discussions, and thanks to you once again for moderating this discussion in a very useful and purposeful manner. Thank you very much. Thanks to all the panel members.
Thank you, Professor Iyer. Thank you, Rajkumar Chaudhary ji. Thank you, Reddy ji, Sanjay Kundu ji, Mekon team, NRL team, also Jute Corporation of India. That we would have loved to listen from Jute Corporation's initiatives. They have launched a lot of products which are eco-friendly with sequestration capacities, something which is the need of the hour, especially when the United Nations has declared India to have its sub-theme as plastic-free, no single-use plastics. And India had done wonders in 2018 by cleaning up the marine drive of plastics. I think this is going to be yet another year when we are going to start looking at, alternative products like jute and cotton, which are going to be the replacements for plastics. And states like West Bengal, where companies like Jute Corporation are based out of as head office, now with a new regime in place, yes, you have to be also looking at the government policies in terms of the farmer procurements, the import duty reductions. All these are very, very crucially linked issues. Finally, what we need is more and more use eco-friendly products like jute, like cotton, and also ensure that we start harnessing the untapped potential of the Andaman Nicobar projects, of the Brahmaputra boats, and the maritime capacity or the maritime lifeline, which has been increased, as Dr. Reddy said, from 7,000 kilometers to 11,000 kilometers recently. It is certainly one of the most beautiful learning seminars we've been through. Thank you all. Jai Hind and Namaskar. Thank you.
Thank you.